And it's interesting, isn't it? How every time a person remembers something deeper, they're not sure whether they're remembering or discovering. Because when you begin to notice the subtle rhythms under all the noise, you might realise it's been humming there since before you even learned the word frequency. Some call it intuition, some call it guidance, some simply call it gut sense that refuses to shut up. And as you think about the times you did listen to it, perhaps you can recall how the day unfolded a little smoother, almost as if life winked at you, saying, finally, you're tuned in. You don't need to chase light or chant in a cave. You only need to adjust the dial, that small invisible knob inside your chest that knows the difference between static and signal. And when you twist it just a little toward honesty, toward curiosity, it clicks. And each click is a choice. And choices over time become identity. So now, imagine for a moment the version of you who's practiced this tuning every day for a year. See how their eyes notice patterns others miss. How they move through crowds like a compass that always points true north. That's not fantasy. That's simply the compound interest of awareness. Of course, some people, they'll ignore that call. They'll drown it under busyness, caffeine, and other people's opinions. And life, patient as gravity, keeps offering louder lessons until they finally stop and say, all right, I'm listening. The cost of ignoring the signal is confusion. The reward of answering it is coherence. Science might call it entrainment, hemispheres synchronizing, neural pathways firing in rhythm, the brain's filters relaxing so the subtler data gets through. Spiritual language might call it activation, a remembering of the system you already are. Both are the same events described through different dialects of wonder. And you can smile because somewhere deep down, you already know how to do this. You do it every time you walk into a room and feel the atmosphere before anyone speaks. Every time you hesitate just long enough to avoid the wrong turn. Every time you catch yourself saying, I knew that would happen. That is your built-in guidance system proving it works. So from this point on, whenever you catch yourself hesitating, you might just hear a quiet inner chuckle saying, tune the dial. And maybe that tiny reminder becomes the cue that resets your alignment. Because once you've tuned yourself often enough, the whole universe starts to harmonize back. And isn't it funny how, when you truly listen, life stops shouting?